Now, the last segment for today is a fascinating one because I don't think it was one that folks thought we would ever get to. Tua got slammed to the ground, got his brain tossed around like a hacky sack, and in the weeks that have passed, has been arguably the best quarterback in football. I don't understand what happened. It's like in a cartoon when you would bonk someone on the head and then they would just start doing Calc 3. They would be doing high levels of mathematics after getting a fucking piano dropped on them. That's kind of what happened with Tua. Now, of course, not the greatest comparison because Tua was still, throwing the rock around before his injury. But I think that we're just seeing him be more comfortable in this offense and more importantly, everybody on the same page with this offense. An offense that is, probably the scariest, if not, or one of, if not the scariest offenses to have to go up against right now. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, you have two legitimate number one receivers on that team. Raheem Mostert is doing okay as well. He's running around, keeping the defenses honest. But really, it's the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle show featuring Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I saw this topic came to me on First Take, and they were talking, and it was Dan Orlovsky and Stephen A. Smith. They were like, those Tua deserve to be at the top of the MVP conversation, and I'm like, at the top. I don't know if I'm putting him over Patrick Mahomes, but if you do not recognize that Tua is a top 2 MVP candidate at this point, you are just a hater. You're either a hater, a Jets fan, or a Bills fan, or a Patriots fan. Those are the only options for you. This guy's missed two games, and is still third in passing touchdowns with 18. He is just shy of the top 10 in total passing yards, despite missing these two games. He leads the league in QBR. He leads the league in passer rating. He's got a touchdown to turnover ratio of 6-1. 18 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Now, Stephen A. Smith made a point that was, you know, um, it was a casual take, okay, and I'm not going to sit here and, say that I wouldn't have had the same take, but he said that a lot of Tua's success are these little, 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yard passes to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, which, is true. If you're not utilizing these elite playmakers every so often to take a ball, catch it after fucking 3 yards, and then make a play, you're doing a disservice to these guys. But that is not what the Finns are doing. In fact, in terms of just like passing, Tua has more air yards than everybody else. Intended, no, we're not going to do. We're going to do completed air yards. You know who's third? Tua, despite missing 2 games. Do you know who's first in completed air yards per completion? Tua Tagovailoa, 8.3. More than Josh Allen, more than Marcus Mariota. I don't know how the fuck Marcus Mariota is on this list. They throw 6 passes a game. That does not make any sense to me. But more than every other elite quarterback, more than Mahomes, more than Lamar, more than Jalen Hurts. So that argument is squashed right away. Um, yeah, basically the same is true even when you go by his attempts. He's averaging 6 yards per attempt, 6 completed air yards per attempt. Like, that's crazy. And then even just intended passing. Oh, we already went over this. I'm just kidding. But like, it's it's crazy. And not only that, the Dolphins are winning, man. The Dolphins are an elite football team. They are 7-3, atop the AFC East. They're like third. They're not even. They're second in the conference. in terms of winning percentage. They've played 10 games. Kansas City has played 9. Like, when you're below the Kansas City Chiefs, you're having a pretty good season. And chances are the person who is the best player on that team is going to be in the MVP debate, and this is Tua Tagovailoa. Now, he has expedited his MVP conversation. He has expedited his placement in this MVP conversation by coming back from his injury and setting the entire NFL on fire. In the 4 games that he has played since missing weeks 5 and 6, Miami is 4-0. Okay, they were 500 before Tua came back. They were a 500 team. He comes back, throws for 1,230 yards in these 4 games, has 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, has only taken 2 sacks, and has completed 72% of his passes. Dan Orlovsky, during this segment, said that this is the best ball placement, ball control, accuracy, whatever you want to call it, since prime Drew Brees. Now, I'm not an expert in NFL players, in just understanding the minutia of what makes an elite NFL player. So when someone who is in that position says that, I'm going to listen to them. And when you just look at the numbers, those are kind of Drew Brees esque, and similar sized quarterbacks as well. Similar situations. I mean, Drew Brees always had great receivers around him, but more notably Michael Thomas before his feet seemingly fell apart. He's looking like the dude in that SpongeBob episode who's made out of paper mache, where every time he sits down he breaks his legs, and then every time he gets up he breaks his arms, and then at night he he lays in bed until the heart attacks put him to sleep. That's Michael Thomas right now. But yeah, I guess just back to the task at hand. Tua is 100% in the MVP talk. Anyone who says otherwise is a hater, and I don't feel comfortable calling this race just yet because this is going to go down until the final game. The MVP will not be known until week 17 is completed. And that's because all it takes to fall out of the MVP race is one bad game. I mean, you look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen looked like a Dookie against Minnesota. Granted, he was dealing with an elbow injury, and now he's been jumped. He's been jumped by Tua. So we'll see where it goes. As of right now, I'm still leaning towards Mahomes just because Mahomes is insane. That's it. He is also, let's not get it twisted. Mahomes is also the best quarterback in football right now. Leads the league in every major statistical category. I mean, leads the league in touchdowns, yards per game. Does have some blemishes on his record, but also I think that when the time comes down to it, I do think there will be a little bit of a bias against Tua because Tua has 2 elite weapons on the perimeter. He has Tyreek Hill and he has Jalen Waddle. Patrick Mahomes does not have either of them. He does have Travis Kelce, and I just think that narrative will play a role in deciding the MVP. But still, I really don't know how much of a detriment that is against Tua because there are great playmakers who are left to rot on the sideline or on, split out wide because their quarterback can't get them the ball. I'm looking at you, Marcus Mariota, not throwing a Kyle Pitts for some fucking reason.